the novel, it was Xavier who made friends with them and received armor as a gift and told him to go back. He wanted to go further. Xavier, displeased, nevertheless followed his master. The knight closed his eyes and said that no one had contacted this race for the last 500 years and tried to understand how Lloyd would convince them. The brown-haired man looked at the knight in surprise and did not understand what was being discussed. Then the protagonist said with a mocking smile that the knight was stupid. Xavier looked at Lloyd with displeasure, who said that they were not going to negotiate. The protagonist opened his mouth wide in a malicious smile and said that they were going to rob them. The knight looked angrily through his bangs at the master and realized that he no longer wanted to be his knight. These were the snowy mountains under the night sky. The protagonist walked with the knight through the magical forest. They walked together along a forest path that was surrounded by magical plants. Lloyd looked back at the knight, who closed his eyes and told him that very soon they would enter the ever-glowing forest, because it was only a short time left, and he had heard that the elves felt a connection with the forest, so he asked the knight to be as quiet as possible. Xavier closed his eyes and began to put his hand to his face. He immediately sneezed and covered his nose. Lloyd looked back at the knight and asked him what he was thinking. Xavier noted that he was simply sneezing, and it could be seen. Lloyd stated that he knew when people sneezed and stated that he didn't have to seem cool. The knight, his face illuminated by the shining light, looked through his bangs and simply said that he was handsome and would look cool no matter what he did, because it was a feeling that he would never understand even if he lived his whole life. Lloyd looked at him with disdain, raising his eyebrows, noticing his ironic answer. Lloyd continued to look at him with disdain, while the system laughed at him because he had received emotional damage. The brown-haired man twisted his face, baring his teeth, looking at the knight, who called him a sword master, and he should restrain himself because they could not control some physical needs. The protagonist replied that he could not even restrain his urge to go to the toilet, and why would he do it? So that later he would suffer from constipation. While Lloyd was making a face, the knight scratched his nose and smiled. Xavier shook his head and stretched out his hand, saying that they